here by Timbers head coach Phil Neville. Phil, if you can start us off with just your thoughts on starting the 2024 MLS season.
Yeah, I think was it 2 months ago we was at the stadium in Providence Park, and I've got to say that day I was not wishing time away, but I was praying that this moment would come where we were close to the start of the season. And I think when I woke up on Monday morning, you think, right, we're into the real stuff now, and the build up to the week is about focusing on winning football games, not just about preparation, not just about getting players fit or getting players through pre-season. It's now about winning games of football, starting the season well, and can't wait to get out to Providence Park to see the supporters, to see the stadium full, and to witness what is probably the best atmosphere in the MLS. And that was my feelings on Monday morning when I woke up, and I think when I came in today, the players had the same mindset. There's a different focus. There's an upping in the levels of concentration, and I think this is the part of being a professional footballer, sportsman, where you really look forward to, because it's now time to play.
We'll open it up to questions now. Adam, go ahead.
What did you learn about your team at Coachella?
Well, I think what I learnt. Me and the staff had a meeting on Saturday after the last game against Chicago, and I think what we learnt in the period in pre-season is what we knew at the start of the season. What I thought at pre-season, nothing really had surprised me in terms of. I'd obviously done a lot of work on the squad and on the roster and the qualities of the players, and nothing that I saw in pre-season I felt let me down. I think everything that I saw was what I imagined, what I thought, what I'd seen, and I think there were bits that I thought were really good, and I still say to the players today that we've still got a lot of work to do. There's recruitment we've still got to do, but I think this group is good, and I think this group can have a really good season. I think this group is ready to compete.
Alex, go ahead.
Phil, I'm sorry, I'm blanking.
No, you're good.
No.
Yeah, John, go ahead.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I literally do.
Yeah.
I had two. Thinking on Sunday, do you expect to have Maxime back and Felipe?
I think we're really confident. You obviously know that Mac. Yes. I wish that there could be a Saturday. Yeah. Max is obviously going through his green card. I've been through that process myself, and last week when you obviously get the notifications through that you're close to the end and you've got to go for your appointment. There's two emotions really. One is that one of pure happiness that you become a green card holder. It changes your life of your family. And then the second one is the process you still got to go through to get your green card, the stamp, the medicals and stuff. So he went from happiness to, oh dear, I've got to miss a few days training, and we're getting close to the start of the season. I went through the same emotions as well. So look, I said to Max is that it's a process you've been going through. It's so important for the football club, so important for your family, is that missing one or 2 days training will set you up for the rest of your life in this country. So we hope to have them both back. Felipe got a real nasty kick, and he carried on for 10 minutes. He then came off. He's done some return to play stuff in the gymnasium today. He wants to play. We messaged each other yesterday because it was the day off yesterday. He wants to play on Saturday, and I think he's at an age now where he knows his own body. We can trust him with his decision making, and he's a tough player. And I expect at this moment in time on a Tuesday to see him out there on Saturday.
Alex.
Phil, following up on that, just wanted to get clarity on any other injuries throughout the squad, and then what's your philosophy on setting match day starting 11s throughout the week leading up to a game?
Yeah, well, David Ayala and Laris Mabiala trained 40% of the session today. They will be okay for Saturday. They got little knocks. They played last Wednesday. They've been on sort of like a modified minutes program for the last couple of weeks. Laris has picked up a couple of calf strains in pre-season, or just calf tightness. So we didn't want we didn't want to over train him today. David is on a specialised programme at this moment in time, but he should be okay. He's young, and fitness is not a problem for him. So we're just managing him through the week and keep building his fitness coming back from the ACL. I know we've seen Eric Williamson come back so good, but David is probably 3 to 4 weeks behind him in terms of his timeline. So we've got to be really patient with that kid. The most he's played in pre-season is probably 45 minutes. So I think he'll be good for the roster on Saturday, but probably not for the full game on Saturday. So apart from that, Marvin Laria, who you know about, got a bad one. Claudio Bravo, he's doing incredibly well. I think he's ahead of schedule, and we hope to see him back sooner rather than later, which will be a massive boost for the whole squad. Your second question was, I talked that much, then I forgot your second question was
philosophy on
naming the
setting-
team. Yeah, look, I throughout my career, you get to the game, you was an hour and a half before kickoff, and the team was always named. And then as I've got older, that's been stretched to the day before, 2 days before, sometimes at the start of the week. I am a big believer in making sure that when we go into the weekend, every single player has that feeling that they're going to start the game. It keeps them concentrated, it keeps them together, it keeps that spirit really close, it keeps them fighting and competing for a place. So I've not changed that. I think it was something that it happened during my playing career, and I've carried that on during my managerial career. I think what happens in football, if you start naming your team on a Tuesday, you've got 4 days training, you've got to evaluate fitness, confidence, connections within the team, rotations within the team. So I think 24 hours before the game is probably common for me to probably start revealing what I'm looking at. But at this moment in time, they're all fit, and if you're all fit, you're all in competition to play.
Felipe, go ahead.
How you doing, Coach?
How you doing?
All good.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. You know, now we live in a football world where there's a lot of different styles. You know, we have the taka, you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. My question is, what is the style that you're bringing to the Timbers? Because we saw, first, sorry guys, I didn't mean to speak about everybody, but me personally, I saw a lot of different moments in the game, and I saw a lot of your manager in that. So I want to know, what are you transmitting to the team?
Yeah, well, I think we want to dominate the ball. We want to control the game both in and out of possession. I think if you watch the games in Coachella, there was some really good moments without the ball where we looked to high press and be really aggressive with the ball. Without the ball, and then with the ball, we've got some really talented players, and I want us to possess the ball. I want us to play progressive football. I think the tags that you've got different sort of like buckets where you think about the tiki taki. In England we say like a Bielsa style, a Klopp style, a Pep style. I think these are all styles of football that and you know what, when you watch each team, there's probably a bit of everything within each team. There's a bit of Klopp in Pep's team, there's a bit of Pep in Klopp's team. So look, I want to dominate the ball, I want to dominate possession, I want us to play with real courage, and I want us to be an exciting team to watch. And I think what you'll see over the next hopefully 3 to 4 to 5 years, you'll see a team with a clear identity, an identity to entertain, an identity to control games of football, and more often than not, hopefully win games of football.
We'll do Jeremy and Anna.
Hi, Coach.
How you doing?
I just have a question about the double pivot in midfield. There are 4 starting quality players there. Do you have a first choice pairing, or are you anticipating more of a rotation?
Well, I think if you look at them 4 positions, them 4 players, our depth in central midfield in terms of quality is probably as good as anything in the league. Paredes, Ayala, Diego, and Eric Williamson. I mean, they've got so much quality, and I think what we found in pre-season is that the partnerships. Players play better with certain partnerships, and I think the constant in there is Diego Chara. Diego Chara has been incredible, not in terms of on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. He's a legend within the football club, but he's also a real driving force on and off the field in terms of the standards that's required. So it's finding good partnerships in there. We've got a lot of games this season. We've got 11 months. It's a marathon, and all 4 players will get minutes. Will play games of football. We'll have to deliver in moments, because you look at that core group of 4 there, they're big players for us. You know, Eric Williamson and David Ayala coming back are almost like 2 new signings for us, and we're looking forward to getting them both out there, keeping fit, and having competition for places in there.
Adam, yeah.
Just how big of a bonus is it for you as a first-time head coach of the Portland Timbers to have your first 2 games at home?
Yeah, well, I think everyone keeps telling me that the Portland Timbers don't start the seasons well. So I think the 2 home games, for me personally, I get to experience Providence Park and the Timbers Army and the atmosphere and the intensity of our stadium. That for me was special. And secondly, it gives us a great chance to start the season well. There are no easy games in the MLS, whether you're home or away. We've watched Colorado, we've watched DC. They are both teams that have improved massively, and they will be tough games. But with our supporters and with our home field, hopefully that confidence and that home field will take us to victories.
John, go ahead.
In terms of the captain, is someone that is part of the club already, you just respect that, or you come in, let them know, you guys get together, decide who your captain is going to be, or is a coach's decision?
Diego Chara's captain. I think from the very first meeting I had back in November with him, he walked in the room, and when you come into a football club, you want to evaluate everything. And the minute he walked in the room, he's captain. And I say that because every single player or staff member in this football club and supporter, he's held in the highest regard. He's respected so much, and he's the captain, and will always be the captain as long as he's at this football club.
Fletcher.
When you look at this roster, this team, and this season, what do you believe it's going to take to, achieve the ultimate goal, which is lifting the trophy at the end?
Yeah, well, I think that's a great question. I don't think we're there yet with our roster. I think that's fair to say. I'm not sure if Ned said the same thing, but I think we've still got some pieces that we need to come in for us to compete. And I think I always start the season. You look back at the previous 2 seasons, and we've not qualified for the playoffs. So you set targets, small targets, and then you build on top of that. For us, it's to start the season well. Then you start thinking about, can we make the playoffs? And then from the playoffs, you think, can we finish in the top 4? And then can we win the MLS Cup? So I think it's baby steps all the time. Take one step forward, build the foundations again from the bottom. This football club's used to being successful, used to being in the playoffs. So for us, that's our target this year. That's our first target. Can we get in the playoffs? And then when you get in the playoffs, and I've been in the playoffs, anything can happen. And I think we've got a group that if they just click into gear, I think it can be a special group. But every other team in the MLS has the same aspirations, and it's the hardest league in the world to win. Why? Because you can finish bottom one year and you can be in the top 4 the year after. The parity is really equal. So we've got to work hard. We've got a lot of work to do, and we're going to build the foundations step and brick by brick. But we want to compete. That's why I was brought into this football club. Merritt and Ned and Heather, they all want to win, and that's the pressure and expectation that I loved, and that's on our shoulders.
We'll do a few more in the room. Adam, go ahead.
You obviously know a thing or two about playing fullback. You have 2 young ones on your roster right now with Sawyer Jura and Jane Jones-Riley. Are they part of your future first-team plans for this season? And if not, what's kind of the trajectory of them? Yeah,
well, we've got some outstanding young players in the T2 now that are knocking on the door for jumping up to the MLS roster. And when I came in, I wanted to evaluate every single player, and particularly the younger players as well. And I think for those 2 players, I think they're both at different stages of their development. I think Sawyer has not played that much T2 football, MLS Next Pro football. So I think there's still a growth there. There's still an experience that he needs to get. And for Jaden, it's a big season for him. He needs to kick on. He had a good season last year. We've had him with us every single day of pre-season. We've exposed him with the senior group, and I think that's been really challenging for him, and has brought another level of expectation for him. So, so there's a good crop of young players coming through. We are a club now that's now beginning to get some young players coming through that are pushing on the door to train with us, compete with us, and play with us. And I think what you'll see over the next 2 to 3 years, you'll see local players in on the MLS roster playing games for this football club. It's something that I massively believe in, and something that I'm not scared to implement. And they've got to be good enough.
John.
2-1. Nate mentioned to us that in the next 10 days you guys are going to have over the line that DP.
10 days.
He said that. 7 to 10.
7. Let's make it
Respecting
7,
our
8. I want it tomorrow, no?
Exactly. So that's my point. What else can you tell us about him and what he brings to the club? That player?
Ned?
No, the player. Not Ned, the player. Ned is
Yeah, Ned was a good player, you know.
and then during the introductory press conference, you said this is the time to judge me. You feel that you have the tools to start judging you on Saturday?
Well, I think we have to bring in the DP. I think that's. I always, you know, from the very first moment I landed in America and was part of the MLS, I think the DPs are the one that makes the difference. The DP decide whether you win or lose. The DPs are the one that more often than not win you games of football. You look at every MLS Cup winner over the last 15, 20 years, their DPs are probably the difference makers in terms of the goals that they score or the assists that they make. You look at Cincinnati last year, Columbus last year, you know, their DPs were the best players, and they were the difference makers for those teams. So we still need that difference maker. I think what we are looking at, we're looking at a DP that's going to come into this football club and have the ability to carry the team on his back. That's what DPs should do. They get paid a certain amount of money, and a certain amount of pressure and expectation comes with that. But they carry not just the team, but the organisation and the fan base on their shoulders at times to success. And that's the type of DP that we're looking for. We're looking for someone that will come in here and take this team to the next level. And that's why we're all excited. That's why we've worked so hard. That's why it's probably took longer than probably what's expected, because we want to bring in the right one. And I think when you've got the backing of ownership to bring in a top DP that financially will cost this club probably more than what they've ever spent, you've got to get it right. And when I came into this job, I did say I want to be judged because I'm now on a level playing field, and when we bring the DP in, we're on a level playing field with everybody else in this league. There are no sanctions on top of us. We've got a clear roster, and the squad is something that I've been a part of the build. So the buck stops with me, and the expectation is on me. Is what I love.
We'll take 2 more questions online. Diego, go ahead.
On the team with most Brazilians in the league. I'd like to know how you see these players and if you enjoy working with Brazilians.
Well, I do love working with Brazilians. I had 2 incredible Brazilians into Miami, and Gregory, who's now been transferred back to Brazil, and Jean Mota. What I love about Brazilians and probably South Americans is they just love playing. They just love playing football. They first out onto the training field. You cannot get them off the training field. They want a ball at their feet all the time. They play with a smile on their face. And we have 3 really good Brazilian footballers at this football club alongside others as well. So pleased to have them here. I think when you recruit, it's always good to have a small nucleus of a nationality in there to help with the transitions and the settle and off the field stuff as well. So they got on really well. I expect big things from all 3 of them. Anthony in particular in pre-season has probably been our best player, and one that I'm quietly excited about seeing this season, because I think he's got a big jump in him, and he's been fantastic so far.
All right, we'll wrap it there. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, guys.